Let me tell you about two students, Lida and Miguel. Both of them love to learn, both of them dream of completing it someday, but their journeys look very different. Lida goes to the same school as her peers. Every school day, she walks into a classroom filled with classmates. Her teachers, the general education teacher and a special educator, works together to make sure Lida keeps up with the lessons. Some days, she joins everyone in group work and class discussions. Other times, she gets extra help when a subject feels a little bit harder. You could say she's half in, half out, always included, but with special support when she needs it. Most importantly, Lyda follows the same curriculum as her classmates. She feels part of the school community, not different, not left behind. Now, Miguel's story is a little bit different from Lila's. He studies in a special facility designed just for students with special educational needs. His main teacher is a special educator who tailors lessons to his specific needs. The materials are customized to help him learn at his own pace. But here's the catch. Miguel doesn't share classes with others who he does not have the same needs. He is excluded from the daily school life that most kids experience. For Miguel, the focus is on specialized care, but sometimes it feels like a separate world. So, Lida's experience shows us integration, learning with peers, supported by both general and special educators, while Miguel's experience shows us segregation, a tailored education apart from others. Actually, both paths have their strength. Integration builds inclusivity and belonging, while segregation offers focused attention. But here's the question I leave you with. If you were Lida or Miguel, where would you feel you truly belong? Because education isn't just about lessons, it's about connection. So let's deepen our understanding on integration and segregation in special education.
Good day, class! Now, we will discuss the educational implications of integration in special education. To start, according to Salin 2001, inclusion is not just about putting students with disabilities in regular classrooms. It is a philosophy of acceptance and belonging where schools value every learner. So, what are the implications of this? First, we have equal learning opportunities. Integration means classroom must provide equal chances for all students with or without disabilities. For example, a student with hearing impairment may use assistive devices while still joining classes discussions with peers. This shows that support can be given without separating them from the group. Second, we have respect for diversity. Every student is different in ability, culture, or background. Integration teaches both students and teachers to value those differences. For instance, group activities can allow students with disabilities to contribute in unique ways, helping classmates appreciate multiple strengths. Third, we have individualized support. Integration doesn't mean one size fits all. Teachers need to adapt lessons, teaching strategies, and assessments to fit each learner. For example, a child with dyslexia may be allowed extra time in tests or use audiobooks. Fourth, we have reflective and flexible teaching. Teachers become reflective practitioners who adjust classroom management and curriculum to meet various needs. This encourages creativity in teaching, like using visual aids, technology, or even hands-on activities to ensure everyone understands. Fifth, we have collaboration and shared responsibility. Integration requires teamwork. Teachers, families, professionals, and even community groups must share ideas and resources. For example, parents can work with teachers to design learning plans, while therapists can support skill development inside the classroom. And we have the last one, but not the least, which is social growth and empathy. Integration also promotes friendships and social skills. Students with disabilities learn by interacting with peers, while non disabled students develop empathy, patience, and cooperation. For example, during sports or group projects, they practice helping and learning from one another. So, to conclude, the integration of students with disabilities into general education has wide implications: equal opportunities, respect for diversity, individualized support, reflective teaching, collaboration, and social growth. These do not only benefit students with disabilities but enrich the whole learning environment for everyone. That's all, thank you.
Let's talk about social implications of integration of students with special educational needs into general education classroom. Let's start by examining the bright side. Everyone learns to live with differences when students with or without special educational needs attend classes together. As you can see, it's okay that different people learn in different ways. Classmates can gain empathy, acceptance, and respect as a result of these interactions. Additionally, rather than feeling alone, it enables students with special educational needs to form friendships and feel included. Let's take a look at this scenario. Imagine a grade 6 classroom. The teacher assigns a group project on Philippine history. In one group, there's Miguel, a student who uses a wheelchair and sometimes needs extra time to write. At first, his classmates aren't sure how to work with him, but as they start planning, they notice Miguel is really good at organizing ideas and finding information from books. Instead of focusing on what he can do quickly, the group lets Miguel handle the research and summary, while the others take care of drawing at the posters and presenting. By the end of the activity, Miguel feels valued because his strengths were recognized, and his classmates realize that working with him is never a burden, but an opportunity to learn teamwork and empathy. Later on, when the class has a PE activity, some classmates naturally help move desks so Miguel can join the game. No one told them to, they just did it, because they've learned to see inclusion as normal. Furthermore, this setup reflects actual life, where we coexist and work with others of various abilities for all pupils. Let's not ignore the difficulties now. Sometimes, bullying or exclusion can result from classmates' ignorance about the disability. Without the right training, teachers could also find it difficult to meet everyone's demands. Support, awareness, and collaboration are crucial in inclusive classrooms because of this. In the bigger picture of matters, integration is about human rights and equality. We learn that education is genuinely for everyone as it eliminates barriers and lessens stigma. Communities also become more inclusive when classrooms are inclusive. Therefore, keep in mind that inclusive education aims to create a more compassionate and tolerant community where everyone feels like they belong, not merely to improve academic performance.
So, what is educational segregation? Educational segregation occurs when students are separated into different learning environments based on factors such as socioeconomic status, geographic location, or disability. While the Philippines has made an effort to promote inclusive education, segregation continues to manifest in both public and private institutions, affecting access and quality of learning opportunities. So the first one is socioeconomic segregation. A significant form of segregation in Philippine education is tied to socio-economic inequality. Private schools often provide better facilities, smaller class sizes, and higher quality instruction materials, while public schools face issues such as overcrowding, underfunding, and limited resources. The disparity between the two has led to unequal opportunities for both learning and success. According to Philippine Daily Inquirer 2022, public schools nationwide continues to suffer from shortages of classrooms, learning materials, and teachers, which worsens the educational gap between the rich and poor students. Second is geographic segregation. Segregation also appears geographically, particularly between urban and rural areas. Students in remote provinces often have limited access to schools with complete facilities. For example, a report by Rappler 2023 highlighted how students in far-flung communities sometimes have to walk long distances or even cross rivers just to attend school, while students who lives in urban communities typically have more access to nearby institutions. So the third is segregation in special education. This is the most evident and most occurring type of segregation, and it refers to the treatment of students with disabilities. So segregation happens when they are placed in different classes or different schools even, limiting their opportunities for interaction with their peers. While the Department of Education has pushed for inclusive education, many public schools still lack teachers who are trained in handling children with special needs. A Philippine Star article in 2023 noted that some schools still send children with disabilities to specialized institutions instead of integrating them in mainstream classrooms, showing the persistence of segregated practices.
Now let's understand the social implication of segregation. Segregation presents social implication on students with special educational needs. This implication influence how students view themselves, interact with other students, and how they engage in society in general. On the positive side, it provides a safe space where students feel accepted and understood. In these settings, they build friendships and sense of belongings as Coster et al. 2010. Moreover, according to Carter et al. 2001, students with special educational needs also feel more comfortable in segregated classroom since they are not judged against societal norms and experience less bullying, which boosts self-confidence as per Lindsay 2007. For instance, Leanne, a 12-year-old student with speech delay, so she struggles to communicate to her classmates. Because of this, she felt left out in her regular class. But in segregated classroom, she made close friends, felt safe, and became more confident. However, in segregation also presents difficulties. Students with special educational needs currently have fewer social relationships outside of their classroom, according to Fabry and Luptig 2001. Furthermore, as noted by Fisher and Mayer 2002, they found out that students in inclusive programs felt a stronger sense of belonging compared to the students in segregated classrooms. Additionally, labels like special ed to students with special educational needs can also harm self-image and create barriers as per Goffman 1963. All things considered, segregation in special educational can actually provide meaningful benefits for students with special educational needs. Yes, it also runs the risk of upholding stigma and reducing chances for social interaction. Nevertheless, segregation provides a setting in which they can thrive, rather than viewing segregation and isolation. Segregation should be seen as a pathway to acceptance, growth, and empowerment for learners who need safe space to succeed. In the end, education should emphasize each student's sense of value, respect, and belonging. All students should be introduced into the larger community while yet receiving the particular assistance or help they require.
As we reach the end of our discussion, let's take a step back and look at both sides of the debate: segregation versus integration in special education. For those in favor of segregation, the idea is that Students with special education needs often need very specific support, and that support is sometimes easier to give in specialized classrooms. In these settings, teachers are trained, resources are focused, and students can get the individualized attention they might not always receive in a regular classroom. For some families, this feels like the safest and most effective option for their child. But on the other hand, we also have the global push toward integration and inclusion. This is built on the belief that every student, no matter their ability, deserves the chance to learn and grow alongside with their peers. Inclusion isn't just about sitting in the same classroom, it's also about creating a system where differences are respected, teachers are supported, and students learn the value of acceptance and empathy. The challenge, though, is making sure that it is done right, because if we just place students together without proper support, then it isn't true inclusion, but rather it is just placement. So, where does this leave us? Honestly, it's not as simple as choosing one over the other. Segregation reminds us of the importance of specialized care, while inclusion reminds us of the importance of equality and belonging. What really matters is finding a balance, creating classrooms and schools where students are supported but also not isolated from the rest of the community. At the end of the day, education isn't about deciding who belongs where. It's about making sure every learner, no matter what their ability, has the chance to reach their full potential. And that means building systems that are both supportive and inclusive, where no one is left behind. Because if there's one thing we should take away from this debate, it should be this. Students are not defined by their limitations, but by the opportunities we gave them. And as a society and future educator, it is our responsibility to make sure those opportunities are always within reach. In the end, what truly matters is not the label of segregation and inclusion, but the dignity and hope we extend to every child, because when we choose to see their potential of their limitations, we don't just build better classrooms, instead, we build a more compassionate world.